But the truth is it really doesn't choke off my bishop from the attack. The bishop can stay in the attack by doing this. Well, first I play queen g4. Now, I play queen g4 to get my queen in there. Now, he only has one move, obviously, and that's king h1. Now, at this point, what I don't want is for him to be able to play rook g1. If he plays rook g1, first of all, he's protecting his bishop over here, so that even if this pawn takes this bishop, this won't hang. If he's also putting his rook on the same file, on the same file as both my queen and king, which is always a dangerous situation. The queen will move, but it's on the same file as the king. It might eventually set up an attack. It turns his pawn weakness on the king side into a little bit of a pawn strength by opening up this file for his rook. So the last thing I want is that rook to be able to fly over here. To b1. Even if I played, let's say for example, let's say he plays rook to b1, I could play my queen over here to g1. So I could play to f3. Then he can move his rook to protect the king, and I don't really see, he can move his rook over here. Eventually, he can move his queen in the back, and his king would be in a little bit of a precarious position over there. But there's not really a whole lot that I could do to take advantage. And in the meantime, he could set up a really strong battery along the g-file. So I played queen f3 check. He obviously only has one move, king g1. Again, the only reason why I did that is because I wanted to make sure the rook couldn't get into the g-file. So now he plays, oh, I'm sorry, it's my move, because he moved king g1. Now I have to worry about my bishop, obviously. I thought a lot about this. I thought a little about bishop f, I thought a little bit about, I'm sorry, bishop d4, but you have to realize this pawn right now is hanging. It's attacked by both his knight and his bishop, and defended only by the rook. Now, if let's say for example, move my bishop over here to d4, he can take it with the bishop. He can take it with the knight. If he takes it with the knight, it's with check. My king has to run around a little bit. He can cause a little bit of havoc over here. So I move my bishop back to b6, to f6. Yes, I'm sacrificing the exchange, but if he takes the bishop with the knight, obviously I can take it with the pawn, and then maybe that sets up a little bit of a pawn march. If he takes it with the knight, then if I take it with the pawn, then his bishop has to retreat. Maybe I can move my g pawn. Maybe I can play knight takes f4 right away. That's one thing that I'm definitely looking to do. If this knight and this bishop stop protecting this pawn, obviously I'm going to take it with this knight, and that's going to cause really serious problems for him, because that sets up checkmate over here eventually. Okay, so now rather than taking the bishop, rather than defending it, rather than moving out of the way, probably trading off the bishop is, I guess I don't really know exactly what he could have done. He probably could have traded it off with the bishop, kept the knight over here, so at least to protect this pawn. But he got a little materialistic. He plays knight c7. Now knight c7 looks like, it forks the rooks, obviously. Now, forking the rooks is great in this situation, but the point is he really didn't have time for it, and therefore I made him pay for it. Rather than move the rooks, first of all, moving the rooks isn't going to help because he's got one of them anyway. I figure, I'll ignore the rooks, and I played bishop takes g5. Now, he plays knight takes a8. That was probably the final straw. If really at this point, there's really not a whole lot he can do anyway. If he plays f takes g5, then I put my knight over here, and he's got to sacrifice the queen in order to prevent checkmate, and he loses the game. So he takes the rook in the corner. So either way, I don't really think there's not much he could have done. He puts the rook in the corner. I played knight takes f4, and now his only choice is to sacrifice the queen. If he doesn't take the knight with the queen, I play queen g2 checkmate, and the king obviously can't move. The king can't do anything. Even if he does sacrifice the queen, remember he's got at least a rook also in compensation. Although I'm going to be able to take that rook sooner or later, unless he has a chance to move it. But if he sacrifices the queen for the knight, I take back, and then he's got to worry about the queen checkmating him over here. So it's possible that he might be able to extract the knight, but he probably can't extract the knight and prevent himself from being checkmated in the corner over here. So either he just figured let's end the game quickly, or he figured that, or he just didn't see it. So He plays queen e3. Again, I'm not really sure what that does. I guess it threatens a trade, but I simply play queen g2, checkmate. And that was my first correspondence game on Red Hot Pawn. I have some others which I will, which I'll share as well. Again, not a great game, but an interesting game nonetheless, at least for a first game, I think. Anyway, okay. Thank you very much for watching. Please feel free to post your comments, and have a great day.